All right. Next up, we have Squeaks here. We're going to be doing some reviews. Let's do some reviews now. We're going to go into
Yeah,
Helldivers 2.
yeah.
I want to know about the game, and then we'll discuss why this game is so popular right now and why it's so successful.
Okay.
So tell me about Helldivers 2.
Okay, so Helldivers 2 is your has call him Space Marine. But a Helldiver, right? And what happens is that you are finding, I guess you could say, life on another planet, whatever. You're fighting for like super Earth, right? There's aliens that
Right.
could come down and destroy you. Basically alien ant, monster, starship, trooper, galactic, whatever that movie's called. Uh
Stormtroopers.
and And this is what's great about the game. Okay. It's a big multiplayer game that feels like a story, but you hop right in like it's a multiplayer game. Okay. So uh there's really not much anything to the story besides just liberating planets and
Right.
ridding of all the bugs, I guess, whatever, bug monsters.
Or
Um
automatons, right? Like you have robots on the other side of it.
oh yeah, I'll tell a story about that one. Anyway.
Yeah.
But so and that's the best way to describe it. And it's a super nice feeling at the same time because it feels like you are playing this massive story, but you hop right in with just like stupid, dumb, quick fun. And that's what it is. So you're having moments, right? You've seen a lot of the TikToks or videos probably
Of
where
course.
it's just my favorite is just hearing Kevin James doing the NASCAR startup. And then you just like launch into and it's just chaos and explosions. But anyway, so you land onto this area with your team, squad, whatever. You can do it by yourself, and you have a set of missions, and you have one main objective, and you go you can do side objectives at the same time, gather
Yeah.
experience and other currencies to upgrade your weapons and your big ship. Every time you drop out of your big ship, it's kind of cosmetic looking, but also enhances some of your stratagems, is what they call. So what
Mhm.
we've seen in videos is that these massive explosions, right? They're being called down once you input like a code or whatever. You throw this thing, and then bam, airstrike, right? That is some of the most satisfying things ever, right? When you unlock
Yeah.
something that's just I had this galactic ballistic brigade barrage or whatever that comes down.
Yeah.
I don't remember the title. So you want the most satisfying thing is throwing it at the right spot, and you just see like your kill count go like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it's like, oh yes, freedom, you know.
Yeah.
So, um, but at first, I will say I did not like the game. Okay. At
Really?
first, nothing was really pulling me in. I started off fighting the robots. I don't know the
Hmm.
names yet, really. Well, I don't remember really much of names, period. But I was fighting the robots, and I was like, "Fuck this game." Okay, screw this game. This is stupid. I can't do anything. I'm dying. This is like
Yeah.
Elden Ring times two. This is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So it turns out I was like, "Oh, let's try to kill bugs." I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is a lot easier." Time to find out that yeah, robots is a whole another level. I wasn't ready for it.
Mm.
But nothing at that first time pulled me in until um, shout out to Joe Bear, right? Right, one of our buddies
Yeah.
got the game, didn't even know until later, and he was kind of showing me the ropes, and I was really getting the hang of it. And then now I'm feeling so confident in the game to where I'm constantly calling things down without like hesitation, you can
Hmm.
say, or worrying about using it. Because at first you're like, I just want to use my guns and save myself. No, as soon as that shit's off cooldown, throw that thing down and just start blowing things up.
Yeah.
You do have badass moments, man. Like just sometimes where you're extracting from a mission, your pelicans coming down in a minute, right? And you're like, okay, I'm gonna set up my turret here. I'm laying down a big ass machine gun. Things are just blowing up, and you just feel like, man, I'm in a movie. And I think that's what makes it fun because it's like getting into a quick Call of Duty match, right? And there's no like real um a learning curve to it, to
Right.
me at least. Apparently there's a meta out there already.
Oh
But
yeah. People are picky about it too.
yeah, that's what I'm hearing, which is pretty wild. But man, it's just dumb fun. I'm gonna have there was one thing I was playing earlier today that was Joe was in front of me. He was shooting down aliens. I had to turn on one side and I'm just sitting there reloading my big ass machine gun with just
Yeah.
blood covered all over my character. I'm like, this is the fight, guys. I do more for Super Earth than I have done my whole life for this country. Okay. Which is
So
saying,
I love it.
gosh.
You've done it a few times now. We talk about
Uh,
Super Earth or democracy. I
yeah.
think one of the better things that I've enjoyed as a passerby or just somebody watching is the idea that like you're not playing as any particular character. You're constantly
No,
dying. You're a
yeah,
new recruit every time with
yeah,
barely any training,
yeah,
and it's just like for democracy and smash your face against a bug.
exactly,
How
yeah.
how is that vibe in there?
Man, it's really but that's the crazy thing when it comes to like, okay, there's a story, but not really story.
Right.
The vibe's there because I think the community is always bringing it, right? Because it's a joke, you got memes and stuff. But other than that, it's really not crazy there. Once you load up, you done your training, one time training, you load up to your ship and you just go at it. Like pick a
Mhm.
planet. Where do you want to liberate is what they're calling it. And do the missions, and that's it. And yeah, you'll get like little emotes and stuff. You're like for democracy, or it was funny because Joe had an emote where you play rock paper scissors, and you really do like you go up to him and you click which one you like rock paper scissors, and you see who wins or not. I'm like, what the shit? That's badass.
A lot of
Uh,
things exploding around you.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So yeah, there's a lot of times where we always have to do an emote before we get into the ship to extract, while
Yeah.
like the ship is just shooting at everything and things are just blowing up and you hear the bugs crawling at you, but we're giving each other a hug before we get it go away. So
Yeah.
um, but yeah, that's what it is. There's no like crazy story to it. You literally just get on and go, and
Mhm.
it's just a different vibe when it comes to multiplayer games, and I don't know really know how to explain it.
Well, I
You
think
know?
like you were saying the way that like, oh yeah, Call of Duty, you can go in for a quick match. That I think the key difference in that statement though is this is PvE really. You're going in for a
Yeah,
quick match,
yeah.
but you're not fighting against other people. If
True.
anything, you're fighting with them.
True. Yeah, true. So you can put like SOSs down if you're playing by yourself and people can join you if they're doing quick plays.
Hmm.
Or you can do the missions by yourself as well. The rewards are less, they're quicker. But if you just want to like, you know, shoot the shit, gotta do your own thing, then yeah, you're welcome to do that as well. So
How satisfying is the game for a solo player versus as a multiplayer?
um solo's fun to it's gonna sound corny to be in your like own world.
Yeah.
Where you go at your own pace. It gets a little hectic sometimes for sure, but you kind of explore more and get the feels. But satisfying, not as satisfying, for the fact that when you're playing with more players, you get more rewards, more XP, and you're buying cosmetics with that, with those rewards, or upgrading your ship. So it's a huge difference too. But then obviously with more players, it gets a little bit more chaos, and then you're really like because at the same time your buddies are using their stratagems, calling
Yeah.
down airstrikes, missiles, or putting their stuff up. Um, and it's like you don't get that much chaos when you're playing by yourself. You just get your tactics.
Yeah.
Your items
But
you
are
can
you
use.
sharing in their kills too? That's why it's going up so much, your XP and your gains? Like you share
Uh,
their kills too?
yeah. So whatever. I'm not sure if it's a shared kill thing, but just
Okay.
anything objective and currency that's picked up is
I see.
shared.
Okay.
There are stats at the end after every mission that kind of compare with your buddies and stuff, who did well or what. Um, but yeah, it's just the more players, the more chaos, and
Yeah.
it's fun. A little frustrating at times. But it's a lot of kiting, and is the best way I could say it.
Fair
Because
enough. Yeah.
yeah, you're constantly running around. You're like, oh my gosh, but then you start getting to the point where like, okay, um, I'm gonna throw an airstrike right there. I'm just gonna keep running, and the airstrike hits him behind me.
Yeah.
Or there's been times where I throw okay, we're gonna, a cruise missile is gonna land right here, right?
Hmm.
As soon as I throw that bitch down, I get hit by a bug and it slows me down, and I get blown up with it.
Yeah.
So,
That's a lot of
uh,
TikTok videos right there.
yeah. So, but it's so fun to just get in there and just have just a I don't know. I call it dumb fun, but it's a great just go in there and just mindless. Yeah,
Yeah.
mindless gaming.
So obviously, with this game just blowing up, everybody's crazy for it. A lot of
Hmm.
news is coming out for it, and one of the things we've learned recently is that there is a game master actually controlling everything.
Hmm.
Have you heard about Joel, the game master?
I have not.
Okay, so I'm excited to share this with you then.
Okay, yeah.
So there's somebody controlling everything else in the game outside of you. And so when Joel decides, oh, you know what, humanity's taking over X planet a little bit too much or whatever, he'll drop a couple more bugs or a couple more robots. If he feels like, well, let's try something out, he'll give you a stratagem that you didn't have or didn't plan on having, including vehicles and mechs, which are like an upcoming
Mhm.
patch, but they're trying it out by just randomly giving it to people. Joel is trying it out.
Okay.
Um, and then So the grand story is actually controlled by one game master. They're comparing it a lot to a DM and D&D. One of the
Okay.
big things is you guys recently lost Creek, something Creek, right? On the robot side of the map. And people were like, oh man, that was Robot Vietnam. It's a big deal. And that was Joel. That was like, okay, it's time to make a move. Matter of fact, they noted one point in the middle of the night, he had to wake up and add robots in there because he was like, oh shit, they're doing too good. Everybody was on that. So he added more robots to a certain spot to kind of balance the fight out. What do you think now as a player learning that there's a GM running everything else too?
So it would just be like, how can we outsmart him? Is what
Yeah.
it getting me. Like, how do you outsmart him to where we could consistently wake his ass up at 2 or 3 in the morning, where he
Yeah.
hates himself and be like, you know what, screw it, let him have that planet. And I say, yeah, fuck yeah, for democracy, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. But that's interesting though. I like the comparison to the dungeon master. Yeah, because we kind of are. Yeah, and it's good.
I think it's different and unique. I mean, compared to other live service games, for example, like
Mm-hmm.
first off, there's not a lot of other live service games where it's not just straight up PvP. But the fact that it's not generated by a pre-written script or by AI, just
Yeah.
kind of guessing, where there's actually a little bit of like pushing and taking and some fun added in. I don't know. I think it's a new way of doing live service games that other games should learn from. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's so weird that they decided to take a turn with this Helldivers 2 compared to Helldivers 1. Helldivers 1 was the
Big,
top
big.
down, yeah. So
Yeah.
I would love to learn what made them do that. Now, if it was something like, hey, we really love this world and we want to keep it going, we don't want it to, maybe it didn't have as much success with the first one. How do we switch it up to make it something? I would really love to figure out or to, find out why and, the success that they're having behind it now with that switch would, yeah, I
Yeah.
want
When
to see how they're doing that.
they
Yeah.
showed this was coming out in a month or whatever, and I was familiar with Helldivers 1. I was like, I'm not interested. Helldivers 1 was
Yeah,
just
right.
okay. Then this thing's blowing up. I'm like, now I'm debating, like, should I have gotten it? Damn it. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
behind now. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've done a really good job. It kind of reminds me of the change from Grand Theft Auto 2 to Grand Theft Auto 3, which went from top down to 3D. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it's like, that's what blew the system up. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I wasn't into multiple TikToks that I was like, all right, let me give this one a try.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, if I do get it, though, I'm much more of a solo player, I think. So I don't mind grinding it when I want to grind it. But yeah, right now I'm playing through Pokemon, but maybe that'll be next. Maybe I get
Nah, you won't be solo because I'm gonna jump in on your games. So
There we go. What other things can other video game developers learn from the success of Helldivers 2, like a Fortnite or maybe see these other live service games?
yeah. So I think I'm gonna compare it to Suicide Squad. A lot of people are talking shit about Suicide Squad. I actually love the shit out of that game. I'm
Good.
30 hours in. I've maxed out almost my third character now out of the four. And really getting myself prepped up for the Joker campaign coming out. Well, yeah, because they're gonna add story. The way that the big story finishes, yeah, it's pretty easy to continue a story with this. But they're gonna add some story, add a character, some more challenges, stuff like that, whatever. Uh, but the thing is, that's a big story driven, right? And I think the difference is that this Helldivers doesn't really have much of a story, and that's where I was getting at, where you could turn on Helldivers and just click and go, where you could do that now in Suicide Squad, but that's after you beat the campaign, and you don't have to beat the campaign. Then it's like, what's the point if you're not playing it a little bit of that with some side stuff?
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. A lot of it's too is that it's not solely depending on your money, even though it's a live service action. They're not asking for your actual your actual dollar bills.
Mhm.
Same with Suicide Squad, you don't really need to, but they have other cosmetics in the store that you can't earn in the game, but you can buy. Well, Helldivers did this pretty sweet thing where the money that you can buy, you can actually earn, and it's not that difficult to earn. It's
Okay.
not something where you need 10 of this type of currency and you're getting one every like hour, not like
Right.
that at all. Um, they have it set up basically you can earn more, harder difficulties, whatever. So it feels like that option's available, but we're not really needing you to. You don't really need to unless you just,
Okay.
I don't know, maybe want it quicker. So that's neat. So you don't feel like Suicide Squad where you're missing out on something where like, hey, I can't earn this at all. It's not an option. I have to spend
Yeah.
real money. But in Helldivers, you have the ability to earn it, and you don't need to spend real money. So
Have you
quick, easy,
found
fun.
yourself spending real money in the game?
No, not at all. I
Wow,
don't
that's
even
impressive.
at the moment. There's nothing even in the store that I'm having a hard time earning that requires me to spend money. Yeah,
Okay, so it's just for the tryhards or whatever.
yeah,
So that's good.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, guys, I think I'm gonna have to give it a try at some point. We'll see how soon. But I was kind of waiting, thinking like, oh, this is a flash in the pan. It'll be fine. It'll be done soon. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought, it's flash in the pan. It'll be done soon. But I think I'm being proven
Staying
wrong.
around.
And yeah, it's been doing good. I remember waking up and like my TikTok feed's so full of it that when whatever creek, I forget the name of the planet, but when it
Yeah.
was lost, people were like, guys, it happened. It was like so mournful.
This is the first time ever where I've seen like a topic community would do memes where it was actually calling on Xbox. So at first I didn't know this was Xbox. I mean, a PlayStation PC exclusive. It was
Yeah.
going to be on Xbox. So I've seen a lot of the memes of like, I think it was like Helm's Deep where Aragon is talking to the king, and that was like PlayStation PC, like, oh, we're down, we need help, and then you got Gandalf coming over the hill, and that's like your Xbox logo, right?
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those. And I'm like, wow, that's the first time ever that people aren't talking shit on each other
They want a
because of the
united
console
community.
wars that they
Yeah,
wanted.
that's
Yeah, United
interesting.
so they could do the liberations on these planets. So
Shit. That is such a
that's
oh
doing
man. All of
something.
a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. I like that idea,
Yeah.
that community.
And there's no reason for this game. I know with the whole like Xbox press that was kind of out not too long ago and
Yeah.
how they wanted to share some games, Sea of Thieves, whatever, Hi-Fi Rush, whatever. For like certain games, man, like this, it's not required to be exclusive. Like,
Yeah.
come on, share the love, share the love. If it was something like God of War or whatever, then I understand that's a baby to you guys. But something like this, man, come on, have the
Yeah, it's
developers get
available
their
on
money.
PC right away. To me, I mean, if it's available on PC, then it could be on Xbox anytime. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if it is over there soon.
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's part of Game Pass soon. That's how you get those numbers. That's how you
that's
get that
true.
army coming over
Yeah,
the hill to help out in
that's
Helm's
true.
Deep.
That's true. That's true.
All right, guys. Helldivers 2. What would you grade it? Let's go grade or out of 10, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'll do out of 10. Let's do oh man. I'm probably giving it a little bit higher than I wanted to, but I'm gonna do 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
that sounds good.